Thank you all. Thanks for being here. You can record it. Feel free to record as much as you want. I will be recording here. If you want to scan this, all it requires is your email, and then you get a copy of the video, the slides. I'll send it to you guys about a week. Next week sometime you should get it. So I'll keep it up there for a few minutes. Mr. Chris, saw him in the gym this morning. 6 a.m. club. Not the 4 a.m. club like Mark Wahlberg. That's a little too much. Good. So if you guys get this up, we'll leave it up for one more minute. Or not a minute. Awesome. I'll put it back up at the end too, so if any stragglers, again, just your email, all it needs. I am pumped to talk to you guys today about YouTube. YouTube is something that I've been into for a while. My background is media productions. I've been creating films for almost 20 years. And YouTube, when we started, YouTube didn't even exist. It was Daily Motion. I think we uploaded our first video. If you know Daily Motion, you should probably get your annual checkup. And if you don't know Daily Motion, then you're still young enough. So there's a lot for YouTube. I've been there from the infancy and excited to dive in. So I'm going to kind of take this first, just why YouTube, and then we're going to go into some really practical things that you guys can do right away and stuff that look long term. And this is going to be, I'm going to call it a basic, a 101 class on YouTube. So if you're advanced in YouTube, you're like, yeah, I already know this stuff. But I want to kind of break it down from the beginning and build up from there. So if you don't know, it's the second largest search engine. If you're like wondering what's the first one, it is Ask Jeeves. Ask Jeeves has continued to be the best search engine. Google bought YouTube, as you guys probably know, for $1 billion, and at the time it seemed like a ton of money, but it probably seemed like the best deal in history at this point. $1 billion for the platform, what it is. It's a massive ad platform, and so many people are spending their time there. So what does this look like just by the numbers alone? So you have 2.7 billion monthly users. Those are people who are actively logged in. 1.5 billion hours watched every single day across devices, and that number only increases. If you're curious, what does that look like when it comes to, say, the other social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram? TikTok doesn't release its data, but it's still projected to be lower. YouTube Shorts is still number one on the planet when it comes to short form content. 500 hours are uploaded every single day, which feels like impossible. Like, how is that much time being uploaded every single minute? And it's the number one streaming in the US. So people watch YouTube mostly on their TVs now. That's been a really big shift, especially, I would say, in recent years. I would like to say Generation Alpha. So I have my family here, my two boys, and there was a shift probably a couple years ago, maybe even a year ago, where it wasn't like, Dad, can we watch Netflix or Disney? It's like, we watch YouTube. It's YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. And I'll get into why that is in a little bit, but that's where so many people are going, and not just on the TV. That doesn't count for many of us when we're searching stuff. I mean, if you have a house or you're fixing things, if you're like me, the first place you go to, how do you do this? How do you caulk or whatever it is, you're going to YouTube to figure that out. Now, there's two distinct things when it comes to YouTube. There's watch time, so long, like people are watching it, and then there's views. People are spending more time on their TV, and YouTube has been very specific in this. They have their videos section when you go on any platform or any channel, and then shorts. So if you're on your phone, shorts is primarily the stuff that's going to come up, and you're going to get more reach for that, but you're going to get longer depth. So think of it kind of like speed dating and a real date. If you go on a real date with someone, you're spending a ton of time with them, you're getting to know them. That's your videos. You're understanding the brand that you're watching. Shorts is speed dating. Yeah, you get exposure to it, but you're not getting the depth that you would get on if you were to date or go on a date for the evening. So it's a big shift in that capacity. And then computers, people are still on there, but it is kind of it's a minority in the views, whether it's TV or the phone. AI has been a huge thing. If I'm going too fast, I tend to talk fast. This is my second monster of the day, cup of coffee. So people at work say, just slow down, Rob, slow down. Okay, so AI has been a huge, I feel like you can't go anywhere without talking about AI. And my opinion of AI is it's both terrifying and super scary and a little bit overdone. Everything is slapped with AI these days. Like if AI, before it was like smart stuff, now it's AI. So I think you want to take it in context, but AI is essentially, it's using what's out on the internet right now to fill its data. And obviously there's each platform you go on for AI, whether it's Chat, Gemini, Claude, it's pulling in resources. YouTube is a huge resource that pulls in because it's through Google, and especially if you're using Gemini. Any videos that are on YouTube, it's pulling that as authoritative sources, especially videos that have been on there for longer, and videos that have been, that have captions, that have data within there that you can pull out of. So the thing about AI is like, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to increase, and how you are represented on YouTube will have a huge part of what the AI is feeding to other people. Okay, this is a little bit about me. So I've been, like I said, I've been doing YouTube for a little bit now. We have a few different channels. The silver ones signify 100,000 and the gold signifies 1 million. So I remember when my kids were born, we started putting on YouTube, and a little character called Blippi kept coming up. Does anyone know who Blippi is? Yes. God bless you. Blippi is a guy my age who has suspenders and just walks around and, oh, this is blue, or, you know. And so I was like, but my kids loved it. They loved Blippi. And I was like, if this guy can get 1 million followers and all this stuff, well, then why can't I? And so we started a kids YouTube channel called Juicebox that teaches the Catholic faith to young kids. 3 to 7 is the primary age for that. So we've been growing that, and because of that, I had to learn YouTube really well. We had these other channels, and so you can't just upload a video and just like hope it's going to be fine. There's a strategic plan to do it and how you are represented on there. So I'm going to go into that. And then just to kind of give a comparison, because I feel like Netflix is the other juggernaut, it's a different business model. So this is not necessarily a fair comparison, but it's a comparison I think is important to show because it's where people are watching stuff, especially on a TV. So Netflix has 1 billion monthly viewers. YouTube has 2 billion monthly viewers. Netflix spends $1.4 billion a month on content. Now that's just an average based on their yearly spend divided by 12. It's a lot of money, $1.4 billion. YouTube spends almost zero. I say almost zero because they've had different times where they've put out different shows, but in generally, it's UGC, user-generated content. People are uploading stuff, and then they'll run ads, and you can get paid off that, but it's not like YouTube is spending that money. Again, different business model, but on TVs, and just in general, these are the views, and so I think it's important to take a look at that. Okay, we're going to go into now which things should be. Is anyone here from the Diocese of Sacramento? Whew, okay. I was really nervous about that. All right, we're good. So just don't tell them, all right? Let's keep this here. I know this is recorded and stuff. Okay, we all know Ascension. Ascension's another juggernaut in the industry. They do amazing stuff. They do just incredible things. They're certainly a thought leader in the Catholic space when it comes to YouTube. So just kind of what it looks like initially. I mean, you have a great banner, an icon. Right away, your eyes caught right on these thumbnails. You're pulled in to the thumbnail, to the you can't really read the title, but it looks intentional. Everything there that confirms your audience and knows what you're there to be. The Diocese of Sacramento, listen, I think it's also important to give context. It's not like, oh, let's find a really terrible YouTube channel and make fun of it. Not at all. Because I imagine the Diocese of Sacramento, they have this channel out here for people who can't attend Mass, and so they stream it, and so they put it out there. And if that's their only goal, great, no problem. I don't want to poke any fun at that. But if you were to ask the Diocese of Sacramento or any YouTube channel that looks somewhat like this and say, are you only trying to get people in your diocese? Or are you trying to get a global reach and try to reach people beyond that? And if the answer is, well, yeah, we'd like to get people beyond that, well, then you should probably take it a little more serious, because right now, it's not going to pull people. When someone stumbles across this channel, it's not going to bring someone in the same way Ascension does. And you can just tell by the metrics that are on there. Okay, so just kind of why is this not so good? So there's no thumbnail. I mean, it's an auto-generated thumbnail. There's a vague title. It's not something that's, Theme 1 is, again, if it's purely just for people who missed it and they're like, what was Theme 1? Great, but it's not something that's going to draw people in. If people are searching for something, it doesn't, and then there's little to no description. All those things matter. I know they seem small, but they all play into a part that increases the viewability and people being able to find your channel and have it to grow. Okay, so I'm going to break down this whole thing into three tiers. Things you can do yourself. So literally right now, as soon as I talk about, or even while we're on the talk, you can start to do some of this stuff. Some things that are best executed with help, or depending on your skill level. So if you're good at graphic design or other stuff, you can do that as well. And then other things that are good to hire out if you're not good at those skills already. And then at the end, we're going to audit some channels, pending the internet working okay. And I have some swag bags. So anyone that's brave enough to volunteer their YouTube channel, we'll pull it up on the screen and we'll go through it. If you don't want to do it here, I've done these for many people, and I just do like a loom, and we'll go through it, and I'll send you the loom, and if it's helpful, it's helpful. I can give you some, some spreadsheets some PDFs to kind of like walk you through this as well. Okay, so let's start with things you can do, because I love that. I also want to make this if there's any questions, I want it to be something that like you guys walk away, you feel like, oh yeah, I got X, Y, Z, a couple things you can go do right away. Okay, this is very simple and it seems basic, but many people miss it, especially in the Catholic space. And I say that as a lifelong Catholic. There's no channel description. So your channel description, what people are expecting, you could take this any different way. You could even have chat write it for you, for all I care. Just have something in there that talks about who you are and what you do, and what this channel, what people can expect. It's very subtle. It's going to make probably the smallest difference, but it makes a difference. Playlists. Think of playlists in a couple different ways. First off, when people go there, YouTube wants you to stay on YouTube as long as you can, right? And so it will serve you other videos that it thinks you like. You probably would go on YouTube and then you watch, people that got in here earlier, we watched the Spider-Man trailer. It just dropped this morning. Very cool. I'm excited. There hasn't been a good Marvel movie, I think, since Endgame, maybe. I don't know. That's up for debate. Point is, right after that video was done, it served me another video just like Spider-Man. And so YouTube wants you to stay on the platform and keep going. Playlists allow you to sort of like kind of push that party forward. So when people land on your channel, there could be different playlists that are, if you have different videos that are themed out together. So for our kids channel, we have different ones, whether for the Sacred Heart, for Carlos Acutis, just different things. A bad one is just like, they're just daily, like it's not organized. Also, the other thing too that I would highly encourage is hosting the party. So find other videos that relate to what you're doing and have it there too, even if they're not your videos, because it's going to show up. Those playlists also show up in the search. When you search something, you probably noticed that too. It'll be a playlist of stuff. Sometimes YouTube creates your own playlist, like its own mix. Like I know I have like different music videos while I work out, and so it'll automatically adjust that. But there's real playlists that will pull up. So don't sleep on playlists. They're small, but they can make a difference to keep people staying on your channel. And then your feature playlist. I kind of just touched on this, sorry, on the last one. But when people land on your page, you want a feature playlist. So for last month, for the month of May, we had a ton of Mary videos. We had sacraments. We're like on this diocese. Which one did I pick? I forget which one I picked on. There's just nothing there. It's just the videos and then the for you. But you're not guiding the audience to what you want them to watch, especially if you have a newer video that you want to promote. Okay, posts is something that so many people aren't doing, and I've only really noticed them for the most part in my own scrolling is when you're on mobile. So posts are easy. You could just recycle posts that you're using on Facebook, Instagram, because the last thing you want to do is create more stuff. Remember, this isn't tier one, things you can do yourself. So find posts that you're already posting somewhere else and post them on there. And if anything, just post a thumbnail and put it in the post. YouTube, when they release new features, any platform when they release new features, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, anything, use those new features. So I know this is on YouTube, but talk about Instagram for a second. You guys most people still post on Instagram, or you guys do Instagram here. Use edits. If you're gonna post a video, run it through edits first. For some reason, it just likes it. Even if with a video I did recently, I pretty much edited it and then ran it through edits just to add a couple whatever, and it performed better because of that. So always lean into the new features, whatever platform is offering, because it likes that. Kind of the same way as like if you have something new you want to show to someone and they get excited, you get excited too, and so it kind of bounces off that. These are subtle things that make a big difference in the end. Okay, so titles. Think of titles in a way of what's going to draw you in. So will episode 14 draw you into something? No, you have no idea what episode 14 is about. Sunday talk, random thoughts. It has to be something that it's a clear thing. So we're going to get the thumbnails in a second. But essentially the Mr. Beast, who we all know, I mean, he's, I think Ronaldo is the #1 person followed on in the world, and I think it's Messi, and then Mr. Beast is third. So Mr. Beast's philosophy, and he's the biggest person on YouTube, is your title, your thumbnail, and your first 5 seconds should all work together. So when you click on it, the thumbnail should signify whatever you're going to see in the first 5 seconds. This is best practices, so you're going to like this is hard to do, but this is what's done at the highest level. So your title, your thumbnail, and your first 5 seconds should all work together. So your title and your thumbnail should be in tandem, should draw you in. Okay, what is this? And then the first 5 seconds of the video should confirm what you just saw and then lead to something more. And Mr. Beast does this at the highest level. So even just doing this in a small way or being aware that that's how it works at the best capacity is huge. So even if you're doing things like, even if you're posting, for example, we'll go in the Diocese of Sacramento, they're posting, say, the homily from the priest. I would recommend not posting, Sunday's homily for whatever it is. Find a nugget that's in that homily. And if you have a little bit of time, find the nugget that he said in there that was like meaningful, put that at the beginning, and then, you could have a little intro sequence or whatever, and then go into the full homily. Just a little thing like that will get an audience right away. Because if it just starts and it's like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for, it's like, okay, it's a snooze fest, right? Like live is different than online. You have to lean into that. And so you have to adjust things accordingly. And it can feel like a lot of work at times, but once you get a rhythm for something, it's going to be better. And so, let's say he's talking about the rosary. Have that rosary clip at the beginning, your title confirms that, and the thumbnail, is something engaging. Thumbnails, we'll get into that in a minute, just some tactics for that. Yeah, please.
What if you're live streaming the Mass, and then it automatically uploads and renders to video? You would have to title it correctly before the Mass, right? You can do it afterward.
You could adjust titles and descriptions and thumbnails after.
And that wouldn't hurt the reach or cause confusion.
No, you could, we'll often change titles too if things aren't working. So anything that you could change after, or thumbnails, even YouTube offers A/B testing for thumbnails. So you can create 2 or even 3 thumbnails, and it'll say, run an A/B test, and it'll tell you which one will perform better than the other. It'll actually use both, and it'll tell you. The live stream, the parish we go to does the same thing. They live stream the Mass, and it goes right to YouTube. I think that's serving a certain problem, right? It's for people, it started during COVID when people couldn't get to Mass, and so they were live streaming, and it's just easy, right? It's easy and it works, but it's only going to reach those people that can't get to Mass. It's not going to, it's just very unlikely it's going to reach beyond that. So I would say the better route could be, you could still do that, but I would also take that video, if you have the bandwidth and the desire to reach beyond that, and then chop it up. Think of homilies in the same way you think of podcasts, right? How many people say like, oh, there's a whatever podcast, like, oh yeah, listen to that podcast, but if you're really honest, you just watch the clips. That's how I am. There's very few podcasts I actually listen to in its entirety, but I watch the clips all the time. Your clips are going to get people their attention. So if anything, keep doing the thing for the homily if that's too much stuff, but take the homily and chop it up into little small things, throw some captions on there, and you could dramatically increase the reach in that capacity. So this is all this stuff, to do all this, you're like, I need like a team of like 5 people. And you're right, you would need a team of a lot to do all this all at once. But just take one thing and work on that. And figure out which, okay, what do I have? What are the people around me that I can use? And again, I can come back to some other stuff that can help with that. So descriptions, that's where you want to put you could put the date that the homily was, or whatever the thing is. You could put the dirty details in there. The title should not be all the details. It's like, I think there's a certain, and I've done this too, so I guess I'm just getting older, where you get an email and the whole email is in the subject line. They're like infuriating until then I started doing it. But that's the equivalent of the titles and description, right? You want something to catch your eye and then you go into it. There's something else I want to say on that, but I'll come back. This is another thing too for long form stuff, is chapters. Are you guys familiar with chapters? Yeah, okay. So great way to also categorize stuff. This is good for SEO, this is good for AI, and it's super simple. And I screenshotted what this looks like. So all you do is you just go in and you number it. So it's just like, 0:00, you do the intro, and then like whatever the next section is, you just go. And so you have to manually do, but then you can see on the other side how it pops up there, and people can kind of, ping through different spots very quickly. So this is also, again, this is stuff you can do yourself. This is, for the most part, stuff just with like a phone or a computer. Okay, we move on to things best executed with help. So this comes to thumbnails and a few other things as well. So start with the channel banner. Now this, primarily, you're only going to see, you can see it on the mobile. Most people aren't because they're just, for the most part, scrolling through shorts. So on TV or on a computer, banners are going to come up. And so a good banner, it confirms the audience. So you land there, you're like, okay, you have a sense to what to expect on there. A bad one is, and I mean, it's a beautiful picture, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't tell me anything at all. It's just, I mean, and if you live in that diocese, maybe you would like recognize it, but it's still not saying what it's about. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you can go, but having something there that confirms what the audience is going to get. It doesn't, like the YouTube or the Juicebox one, we go, how often you're getting videos, what it includes. Because it's a kids thing, we want to kind of over-communicate what it is. It's not under-communicate, just because if a parent's showing a video to the kid, you want to be careful in what they're watching there. Profile icons. Now, does anyone know the icons on the right? No? Good? Okay. They're okay if you have, okay, they're not okay. The ones on the left, they show the seriousness of the channel, but the ones on the right, I mean, your default one, kind of a no-brainer, and then the other ones, they're vague, they're hard to identify. It doesn't confirm what the brand is or what to expect. And this is going to come up on really any platform, mobile, TV, your computer. And so your logo is a simple way, but even just like for Bishop Barron, right? It's his face. Like that, it makes more sense to have his face than it does to, have the Word and Fire logo because he's so recognizable. So if you have a recognizable like personality, use that. If you have a recognizable logo, Hallow is kind of like, most people might not know what that is unless, you're Catholic, but at the same time, it's still a strong branding image. And if you've seen the logo, it confirms, oh, yep, I know what that is.
What's your opinion about Diocesan Crest?
If I could, I would say, get them off YouTube. They for an icon, it doesn't make any sense. No one knows. No one, and I say this with as much reverence, but no one cares on YouTube about your Diocesan Crest. And honestly, it'd be hard to identify even the Archdiocese of Chicago's crest. Like, I think I could probably do it, but also it doesn't matter. So have something, and I know it's probably the hardest one to change because it's a crest, it's like basically your logo. Okay, but that's just not how things work. Like you need something else. So what if you were asked, well, what should you do? You could do your bishop's face. That's a little bit better. I'm trying to think of things that are could get approved, right? To go over a full rebrand. But I think the crests have their place and they should exist and this stuff. But I think the church, there's a quote that says the church thinks in centuries, which is great. And it's good that the church does that. But for social media, you have to think differently. You can't be thinking in centuries because things change so quick. Okay, thumbnails. There's another saying in YouTube where it's like thumbnail first, then make your video, which feels like kind of crazy, but that's what's done at the highest level. The thumbnail is so important to bring people in. And there's a lot of creators that will make great thumbnails and the video is kind of blah, but it gets people in the door. So the point is, if you're not being intentional about your thumbnails, I think you're making a huge, huge mistake. If there was only one thing you can do, I would say make a better thumbnail because we're so visual. As soon as you search anything, the thumbnail will draw you in, especially for a younger audience. A younger audience is going to look at the thumbnail, don't care about the titles, don't care about the description. Yeah?
Did you say make the thumbnail first and shoot the video?
Yep.
Does that affect how you shoot the video because you're getting a certain bias to how you create the thumbnail?
Yeah, so it's a bit...
Loaded question, how does that affect the video production process?
Good question, because I'm in the business of making videos, so it's like it feels like an impossible task, especially if someone's like, okay, you got to make this video, and you're like, wait, I got to make the thumbnail first. But if you have full control, right? So think about creators that are just creators; they can do whatever they want. You think about what the video is going to be, and so again, those three, like the trifecta: the title, the thumbnail, and the first 5 seconds. So let's just think of a video idea. You guys want to bring? Anyone want to throw out a video idea? We can workshop the thumbnail real quick, and like, what does the video look like? Anyone? And we got a video they're trying to work on. We could kind of workshop this right now. Or if you got a video, any videos you're working on? You got one?
Yeah, so they did issued a message from the bishop in response to tornadoes that damaged a lot of buildings in the high school in our area.
What area are you from?
It's Maryville, Indiana.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. We just got,
Yeah, those tornadoes a lot of the property around our
So I think, you want to be careful. Like a Mr. Beast would do something very sensational, right? It'd be like a tornado with like a Lamborghini floating in the air and like his face, like, So you don't want to do that. But I think, if you showed simple things, just kind of A and B. So the reason I showed this is like, it's like this versus this. So life size versus Lego. So if you had tornado on one side and your bishop's face on the other side, like a real picture of him with like, something that looks like a concerned or a genuine look. Right? And it's like, you're shooting that later today. What's he going to, do you know what he's like? Is it just more like, hey, we're taking care of the people that have been affected? Is it stuff like that? Okay, so forgive my for swearing, but we call it a shitty first draft. So a shitty first draft would be, what's your bishop's name? McClory. Bishop, helping those in need that are affected by the tornado, or again, shitty first draft. So you have something where you get to the core of what he is. So he generally wants to help the people, because I'm sure the diocese is going to offer anyone that's been affected food, shelter, whatever they need. And so you could have that, and you could, if you want to show it, I would say the first 5 seconds show the devastation of the area, and then it goes into the bishop's compassionate thing. And so I think it's important though, this one's a little bit more sensitive because people have been affected, right? This is not something where, it's like a fun video. Like this is a tragedy too. So you don't want to overdo that, but I think there's a subtle way to bring people in like, oh wow, especially a non-Catholic seeing, well, the Catholic Church is taking care of people that are in need because, a lot of times that's not the appearance of the Catholic Church. It's just like money or whatever it is. And so I would lean into that. That would be like the first iteration of it. Happy to workshop with this after you as well. So at the end of the day, try to not do auto-generated. They're just not going to bring people in. And think of, when you come with thumbnails, same thing for lighting. I was just talking about lighting. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Lighting is so important in video, and your eyes always attracted to the brightest spot in the image. That's why I brought that light, because I want to make sure you guys can see me, so the camera can see me. And so think of whatever's white in this is the brightest spot in that, and so make sure that's most prominent. So always go generally higher contrast. So like the one that's not good, there's a lot of stuff going on, and your eye's not directed. Your eye's directed to what's in focus and what's the brightest spot in the image. And so use that when you're designing thumbnails, and use that when you're shooting your videos too. Okay, closed caption. Now this is probably the biggest thing when it comes to the SEO and the AI pulling in stuff. So closed captions, you guys don't know what it is. There's auto-generated stuff on YouTube, and at the very least, use the auto-generated one. However, it's not, I would say it's not the most reputable yet, especially in the Catholic space, because there's so much Catholic vernacular that it just doesn't get right. So invest if you can, and it's a very low investment. This is best executed with help. I would not recommend typing out the stuff yourself. There's plenty of tools that can do this for free or low cost. But it's going to be accessibility, so anyone's hearing appeared, or just people that have a hard time following. I know, like, I've gotten so used to captions. Whenever we watch a movie at home, we always have the captions on because it's just like, there's just usually a lot going on. And so how do you do this? A quick tip is I use Rev. You could use many other platforms, but they're probably one of the most affordable ones out there. They have two options. You could do AI ones where it does it AI and then a human checks it, or a human does the whole thing. Either way, whatever one you pick, you go in there. Essentially, you could upload the video. So whenever you upload a video, I probably should say this too. Upload it as unlisted. Never make not never, but if you can, never make a video public right away. Where you're just like uploading it in public. That's like crazy talk. So upload it, keep it unlisted, do all your checks, change all your stuff, take that unlisted link, dump it over to Rev, because you can just paste a URL, and then, it takes anywhere from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. It's going to give you back an SRT file, and then you go, on the back end in YouTube Studio, and you go to subtitles, you click the little pencil, upload file, and then boom, you got it right there. You could check it. I recommend checking it because, it's nothing's 100%, and especially subtleties. Name spelling is probably where it's going to get the biggest potential for errors. Yeah.
I know that on my editing software, DaVinci also does closed captions.
Yep. Yeah. DaVinci.
I like any language is actually included a lot of that.
That's
I use transcribe my bishop's homilies.
That's awesome.
It's really good. It's in bilingual.
So DaVinci is the editing software. Premiere does it. I think Final Cut does it as well. This is also an opportunity to do other languages too, with little to no cost, because you can get transcribed in English, you get transcribed in Spanish. You could upload tons of different SRTs in there. Yeah.
This question, is there a difference with, if you use the SRT upload versus with the hard code? Is it, do they read them the same?
When you say hard code,
What I mean, actually the video developer, he literally and then exports the video file versus you adding it as SRT. Do the search engines treat it the same way?
They don't, because it's harder to read that. My recommendation, and I think best practices, if it's a long form video, don't put burned in captions on there, because it's just not really how it goes necessarily. Some people don't want them there. Short form, yes, I would highly recommend captions on short form videos, mostly because people are watching that either in public or in the bathroom. And so just being honest, right? So having those on short form burned in 100%. But on long form, I wouldn't recommend burning them in. And the search engines, I don't think can pull it from that because it's essentially just reading the video file. But that's a great question.
Just in reference to you mentioned Rev, which was also mentioned. I was wondering what is your particular preference or your favorite AI tool in terms of editing for the videos, optimization?
Editing the video, just taking the raw files and editing them? Yeah. For the most part at our studio, we use Premiere, but there's a lot of just tools that even with this Insta360 right here, you could run it through if it's a GoPro, Insta360, they have these, AI editing, and it can edit its stuff. And honestly, it doesn't do a terrible job. I think for short form, the AI editing was really good. More advanced stuff, I've seen some pretty impressive things with Claude. There's also, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name. It's not Lucid Link. There's another one that can take your long form video and chop it up already into so there's a couple different things. One tool, if you have a podcast, it's like a 4-camera podcast, it'll make all the cuts right away. And so you're just kind of going through and watching that. It saves a ton of time, super helpful. Another one that's a little bit more advanced. It can go through and it can pull all of your selects of a B-roll. So if you're not sure what that is, you're shooting B-roll. Some of your B-roll looks great, some of your B-roll looks kind of crappy. And so generally what you want to do in that, you put it on your timeline and you want to make a slice every time there's a good shot. So okay, look good, okay, cut it there, it's still good, it's good, okay, cut it there, it's bad after that, move that up. And so you have your selects, all of your great B-rolls right there. So that's another AI tool that can do that. So I haven't seen anything that can just take it from start to finish, but there's things that can optimize different parts of your process faster. So, great question. I'm blanking on those names, but I have them written down. We pay for them, so I just got to look them up and see. So I'm happy to kind of provide a resource for that too after. Yeah.
Riverside.
Yeah. Riverside FM.
Apparently that has a new feature that does do that, and it will all the empty spaces are automatically cut out, and it's supposed to be user-friendly, more than better. Your suggestion?
We use Riverside right now, actually, for the POCO podcast. They just went to they're all remote now. It's the POCO podcast. It's the Franciscan Friars. There's 4 of them. They're all remote, and we use Riverside FM to host the podcast and record it. I've been impressed what it's been able to chop up. I would say if you're short on time and you have lower prep, it's all about time and resources, right? So in this capacity for Riverside, if you're saying Well, I don't necessarily care quite as much as far as what clips are pulled, as long as they're good and I don't have to spend much time. I think it's great. If you're more particular when it comes to like, okay, we want these specific clips, then you're going to have to start to manually do it a bit. And so it's always a give and take as far as what you want to do. But by all means, I mean, because they want you to stay on there, so they're providing more features with that. And if it works, it works. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking advantage of, you know, hey, it's a great clip, let's just use it then. Because I've been on ones too where it's like you're done and it's like, here's 3 clips on a podcast, like, you know, like if I was a guest on something. And so I think it's good. There's no...
If the podcast is designed as a conversation, editing is not going to be too much of a priority because you can't cut out a word or an action or whatever because the other one would be responding, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple ways. Most podcasts these days have shifted to like it's an unfiltered conversation you have with someone, and so the idea of keeping it long and uncut is the general census. Like people think that that's how it is, which it is. But there's times maybe a guest slips up or says something like they fumble a word. Then you want to chop it up, kind of you want to put people out so they're their best self. But yeah, there's generally not. It's more you're just cutting between cameras. Is the editing that comes into the podcast. So.
You said there's apps to do that?
Yeah, there's an app. Again, I'm blanking on the name, but there's an app that we when Poco was in person, we had 5 cameras. And so if you've been in an editing thing and you have 5 cameras, you got to cut, first you got to sync it. There's tools for that. And then you got to go through like, okay, which camera do we want for here? Which camera do we want here? It takes a long time and it's just kind of like, it's a lot, especially for an hour-long podcast or even a 30-minute podcast. So there's tools that will go in and automatically cut it. Just kind of based on who's talking. It uses who's talking is the preference, and it can go from there. So it saves a ton of time. I would highly recommend something like that too. Autopod, okay. There's a few of them. Yeah. So nowadays there's so many tools. So there's not just like one that does it. There's a lot that compete to do very similar things. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Okay, end screens. End screens. Are important, but have gotten less important to a certain degree. So let me explain this. So at the end of your video, YouTube allows you to put on screen for up to 20 seconds a few different things. You could put your subscribe thing, you could put, what video's next, and come up a few different ways. So one, there's no end screen, as you could see. One of ours has our subscription in the center, and then 2 other videos which you could pick, or you could say best for the viewer, whatever it may be. And then you see the Father Mark Schmitz, where he's talking to camera. You've probably seen it even for like late night shows where they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, thanks for watching this channel, click on this stuff. Remember what I said earlier, YouTube wants you to stay on YouTube. So they don't care if they're setting your channel or someone else, it's just they want you to stay there. So some of the bigger creators don't have a long drawn out end screen. This is something that I've seen shifted, especially with, as my kids have watched stuff. It'll be up for 3 seconds because if the video ends and you have 20 seconds, and this is something that we have to shift. So if you look at our videos, this is what we're doing and which we have to change. It's 20 seconds. So you kind of lose your audience. The energy goes down. So you're watching videos, oh, this is great. And then you're waiting 20 seconds to the next thing, unless you click on that. So I would encourage shortening the end screen, but still have whatever video you want next, because you want to have that party. If YouTube knows, okay, people are going to your channel and they're staying in your channel because the next video is great too, then you want to kind of encourage that. And an end screen can kind of keep people going in the direction of your channel.
If people are watching YouTube on TV besides pretty much every day, you've got the in-video links and things, and that doesn't really fly on television. So if you know that this big percentage of people are watching it on TV, then how do you handle that, or is it just something you have to live with?
I think this is where it gets nuanced. Some TV, so I watch it on an Apple TV device, it does allow in links. So I can click on that next thing. It's complicated. This is where it's like, now that it's shifted to, like I would say 2 years ago, end screen's huge because the amount of people watching on TV wasn't as large as it is now. So people could just use their mouse or tap on it or whatever it might be. This is something I think I would encourage you guys to kind of stay up on and see. It's gonna suggest whatever video it thinks you want next. And so that's why having a playlist, having these other like small things. So for end screen specifically though, at the very least, have whatever video you think that audience will like next. So whatever the video's on, if you're on Lent, have another Lent video, for 3 seconds at the very end that it could either auto-suggest or that if they can't click on it, they could. So, and then this is just kind of how you do it. You go just in YouTube Studio, you can move it around however you want. You can see all the different kind of like grids in there. And again, subscription or videos, you could pick other videos if you wanted, yours or someone else's. Okay, so things that are good to hire out. I remember the thing I wanted to say earlier, so I'm gonna, all the bubbles. Before I go to that, I think something to illustrate too, this goes back to sort of the Netflix thing I was mentioning earlier. The reason, and I think Generation Alpha, who's like, well, my kid's age, why YouTube is such a big deal. Okay, if you like Legos, for example, and you go on Netflix, the only options you have for Legos is videos that really Lego made, right? So they have an Ninjago show, they might have like a Lego City, they have a few different things, and they're okay, it's fine. You go on YouTube, oh my goodness, it is endless. I mean, they have TD Bricks is my kid's favorite thing right now. TD Bricks, yeah, Brick Science. I mean, there's so much options. And so I think the potential for the growth, it's only going to increase because it's so specific and curated. And these people are creating things at such a high level in a small capacity. So the reason I just want to kind of draw back to that for a second is just that the customization, people have these own like subcultures of what they're into, and YouTube allows you to go really into that niche. So anyways, that's not really to end screens, but I just wanted to illustrate that. Okay, so things that are good to hire out. We're at a Catholic Media Conference, so this might be stuff that you don't need to hire out because if you're capable of video production. But creating good videos, that's kind of feels like the last thing in this, making a good video on YouTube. But all that other stuff is super important as well. But creating a good video that builds the audience, I mean, think of the big players in the game, the Ascension, Bishop Barron, Hallow. They're investing significant money into the video creation. And having a good video that draws people in, that's searchable, that's there for a long time. And so I think there's two things to think about. And they both kind of contradict each other, but I think it's important to realize. A video that's been on YouTube for a long time has been there, it's been part of search, it's super important. But if you're like, well, I'm just starting now, our YouTube channel kind of stinks, is it too late? No, it's not too late, because on the flip side is you're more likely to click on a video that was just published a few days ago or a few weeks ago, even if it's the same content. So for example, let's say you're trying to fix something in your home, and you're trying to your AC is not working. My AC is broken, or how do I refill the Freon in there? If a video was posted 10 years ago, or if it was posted a month ago, you're like, well, I'll click on the one a month ago because that's probably more current with what's going on. And so you're never too late. This is the perfect time, if you haven't taken YouTube seriously, to start now, because the preference is new. Always preference is new. And when you're there for a longer period of time, you're a legacy player in that space. Now, shorts, again, it still over-indexes your long-form videos, meaning that you post a long-form video and a short-form video, you're going to get just pure organic, you're going to get more views on your short-form automatically, because there's so many more views there. And so the interesting thing is, like this one we have with Father Tim, got 5.7 million views. It's from a longer-form video. This got, 5.7. The actual video, I don't know, maybe 100,000, 200,000, which is, don't get me wrong, it's a great number, but it's this very specific thing. And so your shorts is the way going to speed dating and long-form dating. You want to get to know people quickly on YouTube, and it's pulling you in. So take your long-form videos, and the hack of this goes back to a tier 1 for a second. You could actually make shorts in the YouTube studios without any editing. You could take your long-form video and you can make a short out of that. So you basically just clip it, and you're watching. If you've ever seen it, it's kind of confusing sometimes. I'm watching a short, it's like, watch the full thing, and I'll click on it, and it just goes to the full video. So you could actually make shorts without any editing experience, which is super, super helpful, especially if you're short staff. Because I think we're all here, like, we don't have unlimited resources. We're doing a lot of things ourselves. We're multitasking. We're trying to figure out tools to make our things faster. So that's a great tool to use. Also, I can't overemphasize the importance of creating shorts. It's going to get people to the door, and your long-form videos are going to get people to stay. Okay. I think a couple key takeaways. Your YouTube channel should not be an archive. I think a lot of times we think of YouTube as like, oh, we'll just upload to YouTube, and that's our archive. It has all of our videos there. But it shouldn't be just an archive. It can be if you have no desire to, it's a free source to archive your videos, okay. But it's so much more than that. The basics matter more than you think. Your title, your icon, your banner, all that stuff, it shows the audience that you're taking it seriously and you're trying to reach them. And then the watch time versus views, as I mentioned, it's the short videos are going to get people in the door. The longer videos are going to get people to stay there and build that authenticity and that brand. AI is changed search, but it's not replaced videos. So oftentimes you can't, I know this too, like how do I'll ask chat something and it's like, it gives me this long answer that I'm like, I don't even know. And so I'll just go to YouTube then and search for someone just explaining it in real talk. And so YouTube, right now AI can't replace that. So being a real person on camera talking about whatever that is, especially talking about the face. So many people, there's a lot of great AI platforms out there now, magisterium.ai, Truthfully. I think they're fantastic, especially for a quick, like, hey, what does the church teach about this? Also, sometimes you just want to hear someone talking about it, whether it's from clergy, from a layperson, and that real experience is going to bring people in. They're going to connect, and they're going to connect with, whether it's your diocese, whether it's your parish, whether it's your organization. And so I was talking to someone just a little bit ago about this, but you want to have personality in there. The AI is very clean and clinical, and it gives you like da-da-da-da-da. Where YouTube, it gives you personality, allows you to connect with the person and have the flaws on there, have the imperfections, that it's going to allow the person to be more connected with that. So like I said, the strong channels are built in layers. The basics matter, and all these small things account for something big. And I think this is a two-pronged thing. You don't want to just upload more, but you should upload more. It's like, don't take that as, okay, well, I just upload a video once a year. You want to make sure you're consistent with it, but try to be strategic with it and don't just like, well, whatever, throw anything up there. Every video should have a job. Every video should have a job of what you're trying to accomplish with that, and that goes back into the title, thumbnail, in the first 5 seconds. That should confirm what that is. And again, shorts get you in the door, and the videos build a relationship. I do have a shameless plug. That's my contact. Okay. I probably don't have time for two. So I have a film coming out I did with Bishop Barron. I co-directed. It's coming in theaters. I'm going to show you a really quick trailer.
We began with the fire at Notre Dame, a tragedy that drew the attention of the world. We legitimately feared we would lose something that our souls cannot live without. These old buildings speak to us of God. So, let us learn once again to read the cathedrals and to cherish them.
I'd be humbled if you guys saw that in theaters in September. It's been a huge effort to work on this, and probably the biggest thing we've done to this date. And last thing, if you like hearing me yap, I have a podcast we're coming out with on our channel called Flicker and Burn. And the gist is we talk to people that have went through some pretty hard times. One of our guests, former Marine, lost his eye, lost his leg in combat. People have been through some pretty tragic stuff. And we talk about faith and how they've found their faith in that. So that's coming out. We don't got time for the teaser, but I do want to show you, we have 2 YouTubers here. I'd like to bring up some special guests. Come on up, you guys. My 2 sons followed in their dad's footsteps. Come on. Come on. So we have Bricks with Wolf and Arcades with Bear. These are my 2 boys. They're here sign autographs if you want. They make YouTube videos. So that's it. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I know we're right on time. I have cards. You take any of the stuff that's on there. And I'm happy to audit anyone's channel. Just come on up, grab my card, send me an email, and I'll make a loom, go through your channel much more depth. And I think that's it. So, thank you so much.